All right, you guys ready? We're going to start ready right now. Okay, we go. Well, welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn.
Ready, go!
Okay. And we have a special co-host today, Dusty Roady.
What? The wrestler?
No, Dusty Roady.
Yes. Want to watch me? Let's bring it up. Okay.
And we have on the phone 12-time Olympic medalist Dara Torres. And she was the first female athlete to be featured on Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. And 2009, she won the ESPY for Best Comeback, authored the book Age is Just a Number, which is something we're going to get into. And she's the only first swimmer to compete in 5 Olympic Games. Dara, welcome to Sports Econ 101.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Excellent.
Good.
Hey, Dara, I just want to get right to it. I mean, you're just so ageless. I mean, 5 Olympic Games. I had the pleasure of covering you guys for 2 of them, especially the Sydney Games in 2000. And everyone wants to know just what is the secret of your success to be essentially the oldest one on the Olympic team for maybe the last 3 Olympics, and to continue to do it at a high level.
I think there's a few factors. You know, I think the fact that I took some time off and allowed my body to recover, and it's not like I said I'm going to retire, but I'm also going to come back. I just really always thought I was done swimming, and then but while I was off, I always stayed in shape. I mean, I love to work out. I love the way exercise makes you feel on the inside and out, and so I always stayed in shape even though I wasn't in a pool. So I think that was pretty big, and then I was lucky enough and fortunate enough to have sponsors where I could afford to surround myself with the best people to help me reach my goals. I mean, whether it was stretching trainers or, you know, strength coach or my coaches or massage therapists, I was very lucky. And to me, it was really more so about a team effort, not just me doing this.
Yeah, well, I know luck had a lot to do with it. I mean, but let's talk about the God-given ability. I mean, Dara, you're swimming against girls that are half your age, and you're beating all of them. I mean, I'm told that nutrition also might be a part of it, right?
Nutrition, and you know, I also have good genetics. I mean, I have parents that were very fit, and I think that plays a role in it. But you know, a lot of it's mental too. You know, you have to want it. And I think the fact that I was out of the sport so many times for so many years, I missed it, and I missed the competition. And as I got older, I became, I think, mentally stronger because of my maturity level.
And Dara, I'm just wondering, now as you're presenting your book and your talks and your inspiration throughout, how do you deliver that kind of, because as Vern was saying, there's something innate, there's something, you know, as you say, maybe genetic, but how about that mental part? How do you deliver that with women?
You know what's so funny is I think a good example is when I was swimming the finals of the 53 at the Beijing Olympics. It was my last individual event. It was the first time I was ever seen first in an Olympic final for an individual event. So everyone was gunning for me. And you have to walk into this place that's called a ready room, which is where all the athletes have to hang out in that event for 20 minutes before you swim. And if you're not in there for the 20 minutes, you're disqualified. So just imagine walking in this room and the 7 other girls you're competing against are in this room, and it's a little unnerving. And so I remember walking in, and you know, everyone made such a big deal about my age and can our body deal with it, can she swim this many events? And when I walked into this room, I looked over, and there's this girl looked like she was about to pass out. And I'm like, well, at least I'll be in the top 7 now. There was another girl about to like vomit. I'm like, well, now I'm in the top 6.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
But, you know,
Just keep knocking them off.
That I had such a mental advantage over these kids because they're at this meet and the Olympic Games, and they're thinking this is the most important thing they'll ever do in their lives. And for me, the most important thing in my life was back home, you know, my 2-year-old daughter. And I could put things into perspective and not think too much about what was happening and just enjoy the moment and have fun and not put too much pressure on myself.
Yeah, and I know also about the age thing. I mean, I kind of think that I'm in the best shape of my life, you know, working out a lot. And I kind of tease people that, you know, my wife started doing a lot of competition, and she teased me that if I didn't stay in shape when I was 50, she was going to trade me in for 2 25-year-olds.
She was serious.
She was serious.
Absolutely
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah, a younger performance model. Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, it's I think there was just always such a myth that, and I think the reason it's happened is, everyone was supposed to be great athletes in their teenage years and early 20s, and then that was it. But I think a lot of that, at least for the sport of swimming, had to do with the fact that there was no money in the sport. So after college, no one swam, and so no one really knew what older athletes could do, at least in our sport, because they always moved on and got jobs.
That's a great point.
There might be some swim parents like myself out there listening, and I'm curious, when you get ready for a race, how much do you pay attention to the starter, the cadence? I mean, I imagine you want as much explosion as you can get off of those blocks. Could you share with us what your strategy was?
The best thing that I was taught by one of my coaches is to go out there and listen to what the starter is doing for a few events before you. And that way you get an idea of what to expect, because you have different starters, there could be an event before me and it's a different starter, and then my event is a different starter, and so you want to go and find out who the starter is and then listen to what they're doing. When you're at a kids meet, it's usually always the same starter, but you can even do something where, if you're on the deck with your child and the child's sitting there and they say take your mark, they can bend down, and when the gun goes off, just jump, and just get used to how long it takes for the person to actually start a race, because everyone's different. Some people, they don't hold anyone down and they say take your mark, go, and you go, and other people say take your mark and you're sitting there and for like what seems like an eternity, but maybe it's 10 seconds, and you're disqualified. So you really have to listen ahead of time what's going on.
Did you hate it when you were up there? I mean, it certainly didn't happen at the top level, but when you were coming, because I'm going through this myself at USA meets and rec league meets, the starter that says, swimmers, take your mark. Oh wait, swimmers, hold on, relax. Something, didn't you hate that?
Yeah, you know what, I did, but things get thrown at you, and you have to learn to deal with it. It's just like in life that happens, and you get thrown sort of curveballs, and it's just a matter of how you deal with it.
Now let me tell you about the absolute power that Dara Torres has. I can't remember whether it was a prelim or a final. I think it was a prelim, and it may have been Beijing. All you guys were up there, and I think one swimmer was late or whatever, and you're like, no, we're not going to start until she gets here. You remember that?
Oh, yeah, I remember that. It actually her suit ripped in the ready room.
Yeah, there you go.
And they didn't know. It was a girl who was, second in the world in my event. I was ranked fifth, and it was the semifinals, and, I felt bad. I mean, here's a girl who trained her whole life to go to this meet, and to me, I want to compete against everyone. Just because... maybe some people would be like, oh, good, she's on the race, now I'm going to do better, but I'm not like that. I want all the best out there, and whatever happens is going to happen. And, I know if that was me in that situation, I'd want someone to stop the race for me, because it's a suit malfunction. It's not like she went off and forgot to come in the ready room, and, it was just one of those things that happened, and I just didn't think it was fair, for her not to be in the race.
The other hot issue is the return of Michael Phelps. What is your impression of his return thus far? I know we got started in late April. I believe it was a meet in Arizona. Your observations on his comeback attempt for Rio?
I just want to say that I called that, because on Twitter he was saying how he officially retired right after 2012, and I tweeted something like, I go, who wants to bet he's going to come back? And then he came on and said, I will. But I knew he'd come back, because I know what it's like. I know what it's like to be out of a sport that you put most of your life into and that you love and you're passionate about. And then once you retire, you miss it, and you miss the competition, you miss your friends, you miss the training, you just kind of miss everything, because that's what you're used to. And so I think it's great for the sport. I think that he's going to do amazing like he always does. And he can sit there and people can say, wow, I wonder if he's going to go for the Olympic Games. There's no way he'd be back right now if he wasn't going to go for an Olympic Games.
Dara.
I'm sorry. Dara.
No, I would love to keep you on, but I know that you've got.
Can I get one more in? Just one more in.
You know what?
Just one more in.
Tell you what. Wait, hold on. Wait for we have to go to the commercial break. You're also going to kill me. Okay, just stay with Dara. Stay with us just for 2 seconds. Okay. All right. Here's the first trivia question. Name 3 players to hit 100 home runs with 3 different teams.
Who cares? We're talking to Dara Torres.
We have to go to commercial
break. Dara Torres is on the line.
I know.
Babe Ruth.
No, hold on. Hold on. Don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101 will be right back. We have a hard break. I gotta go to the. Okay, Dara, stay with us. Okay.
Wait, so who is it?
Yeah, really. I want to know.
What they can think of?
Wait, what's the question again?
Name 3 players to hit 100 home runs with 3 different teams.
100 home runs with 3.
Yeah. Let me just save this file, and we'll.
3 players.
3 players. Yeah. Okay. So what's today?
100 home runs with 3 teams.
Wait, 100 home runs total or 100
With
home
no,
runs?
each one.
with each with
What,
3
100,
teams.
100 with 3
different
different
teams.
teams.
Oh, wow. Forget about that.
I know.
3 different teams. Well, it can't be Barry Bonds because he only played for the Pirates and the
tell you what,
Giants.
and what we'll do is
3 different teams.
let's finish off with Dara.
Oh, sure.
And I'll finish
Sure.
off with trivia afterwards.
Sure.
Okay? Because she's more important. I know she's got plans, and I don't want her husband to be upset with
Dara, I'm just interested as you're out there now with the folks, preaching
you. Talk loud. 'cause she can't hear you.
that's right, you can't hear me. But preaching the subject about age, and how are you finding the response with people?
You want to say that for the
You want to ask her on the air?
Yeah, why don't you ask her?
We're not back
I
yet.
tell you what, Dara,
Oh, no. I thought we were
let her
talking-
ask
we
you
were coming back
on the air. Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
Okay, so we're just going to take a few more minutes with you. You let us know when you need to cut out, okay? So here we go.
Okay, I say Reggie Jackson.
Hold on. Actually, yes, he is one of them.
Oh, look at Derek.
She's a
Very good.
She's a true one.
Okay.
I don't know anyone else.
Okay.
I say Reggie Jackson.
Well, you will have heard of at least one of the other guys, and then maybe the other one. But okay, here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn.
Oh.
And we are here also with Dusty Roady, special co-host here.
Hello.
And on the phone, we have Dara Torres, who is the famous swimmer. And I'm going to make this fast because I know she's got to go. We'll get into the trivia question a little bit later. Go ahead, Vern.
Well, Dara, I was talking to one of your teammates, Jody Thompson, and I asked her, and then I saw Mary Lou Retton, and I asked her, I want to know, where are all your Olympic medals now?
Well, my mom has one. I gave one to her as a thank you after Sydney. And then I keep them in a safe. And what's so funny is I used to keep them under my bed. And my mom's like, no, you got to keep them in a safe. Someone's going to steal them. Don't keep them out, in your house. And then I give her the Olympic medal, and I walk into her house at Christmas time, and it's like at the front door right when you walk in. I'm like,
For years, Mary Lou Retton kept all of her medals in a Wonder Bread bag under her bed. And then one day, one day her husband was just doing some house cleaning, found the medals, and then decided to formally mount them, and have them in a nice prevalent place in the house. But isn't it funny? I mean, I know when it's over, but I mean, all these, you hear Wayne Gretzky's MVP trophies like in the corner of a garage and stuff like that. It's just funny what people do with these things. Whereas if you're a fan outside looking in, you're like, wow, man, you must have built a shrine or a man cave or something,
Well, if you have a bunch of them, I can see where you have room, only so much room. Do you want to ask one quick question?
Just quickly, now when you're in the new venture, when you're out there and sort of preaching that whole thing about you can get back in, you can be active, you can do this whole lifestyle regardless of age.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, when you find the reception, where do you find the most barriers for people?
where I find the most what?
Barriers, the kind of resistance for people thinking, thinking they can do it. Maybe they're, what seems to hang them up the most?
It depends. I mean, I've had such various people come up to me and tell me their stories, and some of it's time management with wanting to do what they love to do or they're passionate about, but also being a parent, and others are that they thought they were too old, to do things. I think the most pressure I've ever felt with the Olympic trials, I felt like every middle-aged person was hoping that I would make the Olympic team because I would give them hope that, they could do something that they wanted to do and didn't think they could do. So, I think age and time management are probably the two biggest things.
Weren't you just narrowly nudged out for London? I mean, you just barely, I'm talking like tenths of a second.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me.
Sorry.
Good going, Fern.
Way to go.
9/100ths of a second.
Yeah, see? Wow.
Well, that must make you feel a little better. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that I'm not your client, because my Jewish roots would tell you, my back hurts, my feet hurt, my neck hurts.
Hey, Dara, does your kid swim?
Yeah, she's on a swim team. I'm actually, it's funny you asked that. She's on a swim team. I've just been going around promoting this new program called Swim Today, and this is like my little pitchy thing here, but 80% of parents who have their kids in swim lessons never think of swimming as a sport to put their kid in when they're thinking of youth sports. And so I've been going around, and my daughter's from a swim team. She just turned 8, like a couple days a week, and trying to educate parents like how wonderful the sport of swimming is and how much fun they have. And the biggest thing I think I like about it is I'm not watching my kid on the sideline, not in being involved in the sport. Like in swimming, you're always participating, and that's a great thing about it.
Do you think you could coach?
You know what? I don't want the responsibility of a swimmer not doing well because I didn't rest them well enough or train them hard enough, So for me, I go around and I give some clinics and I do stroke technique and I help that way, and then the rest is up to the coach.
I mean, it's the thing about swimming that's so good. I mean, it's so good for you, and you, for the most part, don't have to worry about contacts. Contact sports.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, my daughter does lacrosse too. I'm so scared she's gonna get hit by a stick or a ball, and it's an easy sport, and there's not a lot of injury in swimming.
What's the best advice you can give, say, like a 14, 15-year-old, maybe has been like a gifted rec league swimmer, but has made the transition
What a coincidence.
to
Your
competitively.
son.
No, but this is for other people out there because
the competitive
Dara,
world.
back me up. The burnout factor can sink in
Oh my
there.
gosh.
So and a lot of these kids, I mean, I know it's a different time. It's a push button world, and a lot of kids feel entitled and that they can just wake up out of the bed and be an Olympian, but without realizing that there's work involved. But what kind of advice would you give for kids today that want it, maybe don't realize the work involved in it, but have to somehow get through it?
All right, this is gonna be my last answer because I have to run, you guys. But I would say that it's more so advice for the parents, because the parents, I think, are the ones who push the kids into one sport and are so almost living vicariously through their kid. I see that so much with parents. And for me personally, I mean, I broke my first world record when I was 15, but I was still playing basketball at school, playing high school volleyball, and except for like Olympic year or a big event that I had, I made sure that I did other sports so I didn't burn out from the sport that I truly knew that I was going to continue on in.
Very good. Dara Torres, 12-time Olympic medalist swimming.
It's almost an understatement to say that.
I know.
She's
really
so much more than that.
I know she is. She's got this book, Age is Just a Number. Dara, thank you so much for joining us on Sports Econ 101.
Well, thanks. You guys have a great day.
Okay, have a good
too.
dinner.
Okay, bye.
Outstanding,
That was
outstanding.
Well,
I can remember when I first saw her. It was in the media center in Sydney, and she was coming in for one of these NBC interviews, and she's a lot taller than you would think on TV.
How tall is
She's 6 feet.
Oh my God,
yeah.
I mean, but just this model-like, tall, statuesque with zero imperfections.
She's pretty lady.
Yeah, you just stand there and just gawk. But she's just as nice as we just heard as she is pretty. What a presence.
Okay, just for fun, let's go back to the trivia.
The trivia question.
We got Reggie Jackson.
Okay,
Yeah.
hold on. Okay, so name 3 players to hit 100 home runs with 3 different teams, and who was the first one?
Reggie Jackson.
Reggie Jackson did it with the A's, the Yankees, and the Angels.
California, okay. The then California Angels.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now, who else?
Ooh, 3 different teams.
Okay.
Babe Ruth?
Nope.
I tried that.
Alex Rodriguez.
Alex Rodriguez,
Rangers,
yeah.
Mariners, and Yankees. And the last one, I'm going to give you a little hint here. He played with the Giants, the Tigers, and the Braves. And he once hit 3 home runs in one game.
Giants,
Come on,
Tigers,
come on.
Braves, Jesus.
Oh my.
Where's Bruce McGowan
Yeah,
when
I
we
know.
need him?
Bruce would know this.
Damn it.
Daryl Evans.
Really?
Daryl
Yes.
Evans, he had home runs, 100 home runs with each. He came up with the Braves. And that's where he first hit his 100 home runs there. So now Dusty. Okay, we had to let Dara go, but you are over 45. You've allowed me to say that.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And you are doing triathlons. Okay. So you at least know about the swimming part of it, but you're swimming mostly in the ocean, right?
For the races,
For the
right?
races,
And training is in the pool.
Okay.
Right.
Now, but isn't that quite a difference though?
In the two,
Or do you have someone go in the water and just kind of push a bunch of
Push
water
one-
on you?
I wish,
Yeah,
I
the waves.
you know.
Yeah, the water, don't you have to grease down and stuff like that? Oh my gosh,
Well,
yeah.
you got the wetsuit on, you
Yeah.
got the stuff all over you, and it's a very interesting point because when I did this last race, I got kind of crushed on the swim, And I realized that environment or that particular training mode of having all these people to climb over and figuring out how you do it, you can't exactly replicate.
Sure you
Because
can.
you were
Just
talking
add
about
a,
that.
just
Well,
get a
that's
bunch of
true.
people
Just
in the
get your
pool.
buddies. And
Yeah, everybody is just to start beating the crap out of me in the pool.
Maybe I'll get the wind machine at the
Yeah.
pool and go on.
How
Yeah,
anxious
exactly.
were you before you started open water swimming? I mean, that's where the
Yeah.
currents are unpredictable and just, I mean, unless you're a strong swimmer, I mean, you could, like me, you could sink.
Yeah,
Die.
but you know what? You get a couple of you hire a couple of sharks to chase you.
Well, I
Yeah.
got to tell you, in fact, Murad, who you talked with today, was my first coach, and it was my first when I got to the open water and I looked down and I didn't see the line. My first panic attack as an adult ever. I flipped over. My friend was screaming, "Get her and fish her out of the water."
Wow.
And that's how it started. And I had to go back to the ocean 5 minutes at a time just to see if I could get a little farther and a little farther.
Just use a snorkel.
But I know they let them now in races.
Oh, do they
I
really?
saw the snorkel guys. But I was determined. I think, like Dara said, there was just no way I was not going to do this. So I was going to figure it out somehow.
Okay, now you're the owner of Excel Fitness.
Right.
So we didn't get a chance because we had to talk to Dara because she had to leave.
Right.
What's your main profession? What do you do for Excel Fitness? You're the owner.
It's fitness training and performance coaching. So even down to I have a little 8-year-old that I'm teaching. Basically now I can teach people how to swim and how to dive. And I do a lot with personal training with people for strength. And my market is Dara, sort of the demographics Dara is going to, is people that of a certain age, but have decided maybe they want to get back into it or haven't gotten in it, but like she said, have kind of those objections.
I'm afraid to hire someone, a trainer, because I'm afraid they're going to push me.
Okay.
I don't want to be pushed.
No, but on the other
That's
side,
right.
I mean, the job of the trainer is to help you maximize your potential. I mean, that was
Exactly.
otherwise
Exactly.
you might as well just start a fire in the fireplace and just take some money and just throw it in.
Can you train me to eat ice cream faster than I can right now?
Sure can. I can train anybody to do anything.
Oh, there you go.
When was your last double cheeseburger?
No, she eats too much.
I can't remember the year I was last in a fast food restaurant.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Look at you.
Yeah, I don't do
I
fast
know.
food either. That's,
I
at
know.
least that I don't do. Okay, tell you what, we're going to cut to our second commercial break here. Here's the trivia question. Again, the theme is mixed trivia. Right? We had a baseball question. Now we're going to go into soccer. What are the only 3 European countries to have won soccer's World Cup? The first 3 emails with the correct answer win a free 3-day 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Email Edward at sportsecon101.com the answer to this question. What are the only 3 European countries to have won soccer's World Cup? And you have heard of these countries, I guarantee it.
Okay.
Okay.
It's not licking, blocking, steamed or whatever. Okay, don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101 will be right back. We'll do this here.
Brazil.
All right.
Brazil.
European countries.
Those are like, I don't know, France, Italy, Argentina, something like that.
Tell them you.
Okay.
Come on.
No, they're normal.
We're not
They're
gonna
normal. They're
email.
normal countries. I know.
Here, I'll show
How
you
are the
this.
boys doing?
The boys are doing great.
And what you're Murad? He's still coaching over there, right?
Murad, yeah, he's the head coach of the Seals.
Yeah.
This might be Nikki's last year. With him.
How you doing, Kramer?
Good.
Good.
He's going
She
to
was
move on
good.
to either
Very good.
Yeah.
little Nikki,
Is it
our
Nikki?
son,
Oh, okay.
and
Segments
and
go
then
fast.
Zach's with NBA.
Segments go
and then
fast.
and then he's
Yeah.
just finishing his freshman year swimming for TAM. So it's been a nice little
Nice.
transition for him. So
Nice.
he's MCAL starting on Thursday, so he's going to try and make that and try and make sectionals, and that would be good for him.
Who's coaching that team?
It's some lawyer by the name of Ken Weber. I don't know him either. He strikes me as the kind of guy that learns swimming out of a book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One of those types.
Yeah.
So
I know. And that's a good point too. With that, it's like being a coach, or whatever. It's better if you've lived it.
Yeah.
But some of the fathers are good. When they get out there and do the baseball and stuff. But
Yep.
that's
Anything else you wanted to cover specifically
about
before we get into like Mark Jackson and all that?
where are we going?
we're going to talk Mark Jackson.
Mark Jackson.
Okay.
That's funny because I had here that what Bruce had brought up. Trade Mark Jackson for Doc Rivers. I like that.
Let me show you this. This will only take 40 seconds. This is the trailer.
What is this for?
This is film today?
We had that last week.
I did. Vern had to fill in for me for most of it.
Oh gosh.
The worst. Okay.
Edward, before I forget, I can't be here the 29th. Can you write that down before I?
Okay.
So that opens
want me
the
to
show,
email
and
it?
then we,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
it's like a 4 or
I
5
figure
minute
you show up, you
where
show up, you don't, you know.
we recap
Yeah.
the previous meeting, we look ahead
Oh,
to the next meeting.
You know,
and
on the
then, and then he gives
14th,
his thoughts
we're
about,
recording.
you know,
We're running 2
technique,
shows on the
games,
14th, not the
so,
15th.
you know, we shot a whole season last
That's a
year of
Wednesday.
it, and so today we shot the first episode of the new
Glad you said.
season. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
so cool.
Yeah, Murat's, he's been very good with the kids.
Yeah.
Um,
He's been doing it. He's been coaching.
God, he off and on, just like because he was with the Pirates for a while,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
coaching for Warren. And,
14th, I hope.
14th,
Yeah.
yeah. Wednesday the 14th. Do you follow that?
I hope. At 4 o'clock. Sorry.
we can.
Yeah, 4 to 5, 5 to 6.
Good.
Could be in 2 shows.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so Mark Jackson next.
Yeah.
Here
after
we
get-
go.
After we get the trivia question, ready?
Oh, the trivia quest. That's
Here we
right.
go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn and our guest co-host, Dusty Roady.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, when we cut to the second commercial break, we ask this trivia question. Again, the theme is mixed sports. What are the only 3 European countries to have won soccer's World Cup?
My guess is France, Italy, and Argentina.
No, Argentina is not a European.
Okay, so
It's
France, Italy,
European.
and
Italy is correct. France is not correct.
France is not correct.
France, no, they've never won.
Germany?
Germany. Western
Germany.
Yes.
Okay.
And
So we got Germany and we got
Italy.
Italy.
Germany, Italy,
And who talks like this?
The Brits?
England.
England?
and England.
And England. was
How about that?
Oh.
Okay, now just recently in the news, tell us breaking news that happened a few days
Well, it
ago.
was a few days ago, but it's a surprise yet not a shock. Mark Jackson no longer the coach of the Golden State Warriors. I think he's the big name as far as the coaching firings go after a 51-win season. And there's 2 ways you can look at it. If you look at it as a fan, it's like, oh, what are they doing? And you get 51 wins, and they
And of the players. Too.
yeah, they put Bogut in there. Maybe they're still playing against Oklahoma City. But, if you take a step back and look at it from an X's and O's standpoint, you're like, well, perhaps he took them as far as they could go. And so
is
if
it
you
that,
get...
or is it just the rumblings between management and he's been
I think that
fired
could be a
from
part of it.
England?
It's like anything else. We're not at every day. We're not at every practice. We don't see the meetings. We don't see the interactions. We don't know truthfully who gets along or doesn't get along with who. We hear rumors that he didn't get along with the assistant general manager, who also happens to be the owner's son. He didn't get along with the owner. He didn't get along with any coach that questioned his knowledge or his authority. But the proof is in the pudding. They got 51 wins, but could they have had maybe 58 wins? Is he accountable for maybe 7 wins that they left out there? Could they have had a higher seat?
I think he like even in the playoffs, I think he played a couple people too long when they were tired. Yeah, I don't care how good, let's say, David Lee is at times, or even Draymond Green was great shooting, but gosh darn it, he kept turning the ball over. And that, just boom, you're just giving points away that way. And sometimes when guys are tired, you just can't play them, even if they're superstars, because they'll turn the ball over, they just won't hit their shots, and they're not following up on the offensive rebounds.
But in the heat of the moment, in a tight game, you got to have him out there.
You gotta have somebody out.
Yeah, but you can't take him. What are you gonna do? Put in Steve Blake? All he's gonna do is
not
dribble.
Steve Blake. No.
But there's no capable person at that
Then
position.
why are they on the team?
So therein lies the question.
Yeah.
So there's no depth. So you
Yeah.
got to go out and get those players. Well, that's not Mark Jackson's job.
No, that's true. And the thing is,
That's Bob Meyer's job. A
What?
friend of the program.
yeah. But I think what's kind of the interesting issue here is the players really support Jackson. So now you take him away and bring someone else in. Now they got to, start learning under a new coach. Hopefully they'll get along with him too. But that's a whole transition thing. I mean, these guys are not robots.
Yeah, but Edward, you're the boss in your business. Who signs the checks? You do.
I do, baby.
You know? So the guy that signs the checks makes those decisions.
Yeah, but the guy who signs the checks also wants to win.
Right.
He wants a winning season.
So therein lies the guy that signed the checks also has those kind of decisions to make if he wants to bring somebody in there that he thinks can get them those extra 7 wins that they left out there on the floor. So if he goes to Mark Jackson and says, I need you to hire a top assistant that's an X's and O's guy, and Mark doesn't do it, he's more comfortable with that guy.
That's a good point.
And goes with that guy, well, then the owner's like, well, what are you doing?
No, that's a very good point.
That's
Like I said, we're not there every day, so we don't know all the interactions between the management, players, assistants, coaches, all that kind of fun stuff. So you make excellent.
I mean, it's too. I don't think he'll be out of work for long.
Oh no, the Knicks. I think the Knicks that would be a perfect fit for him to fix it. You know what? Bruce is not here today, but Bruce sent us an email saying, and this is before the firing. He said, wouldn't it be cool if we could do a trade, Doc Rivers for Mark Jackson?
Mm-hmm.
I said, that's excellent because Mark Jackson has a congregation. He's a pastor also down in L.A., so you love that. And the Clippers, with all the Sterling situation, Doc Rivers is a classy guy. He probably just wants to get away from that. I mean,
that would be an interesting scenario if Doc Rivers said, so long as he's part of this ownership group, I don't, you just get me out of here. And then all of a sudden there's a vacancy, and then
and Doc apparently
here comes the Reverend.
They were both in Lake Up. They were both in Boston, so they know each other.
Yep.
But there's talk of Steve Kerr coming on.
The Steve Kerr sweepstakes.
Yeah.
Everybody's romancing this guy. Apparently he's a basketball savant.
He was a good player.
You can't question the championship rings that are on his finger, and he does have basketball acumen.
Yeah.
Whether he can coach or not, I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll never know. But
Has he yet?
I don't think he's coached yet.
No.
But okay, so now we've got Dusty Roady here,
Right.
who you are a hardcore trainer, for yourself. And now, what's it like to train other people? Because that's kind of what you're doing when you're coaching.
Well, and that's key is you have to be able to deliver information and check for understanding. I think what it really comes down to is a matter of teaching, and you also have to be willing to take yourself out of it's not mine now. I've got to do it for someone else. I think it's a kind of a unique gift.
Yeah, that's why
as a trainer or a coach, are you frustrated by having this talent that's not reaching his or her potential, despite your backing?
No, it's not so much frustration, and that's another, I think, an attribute of a coach is to keep digging and staying on. And that's why I was talking with Dara about that. What do you find with people? Finding out what the objections are, and also getting you've got to be. I mean, it's like you said. So someone was a minister or whatever.
Mark Jackson.
Mark Jackson.
Yeah.
And that's part of it too.
Well, see, the difference is, like, you don't coach a whole team. He's got to worry about,
He's got 12 guys on a team. 12 different personalities.
Sort of a big babysitter type, because a lot of these guys.
You got to stroke your stars. You got to get on the guys that aren't working as hard.
Yeah.
You got to push the right buttons.
Yeah.
Well, and I did coach over at Dominican, right over here, with all the teams.
Oh, okay.
So we would have the full on for the strength and conditioning. But I think
But it's not a team sport though, right?
no, we coach the team sport people.
Oh, okay. But I mean,
the players, the athletes.
Okay, but you're coaching them.
The players come and train with Dusty.
Yeah.
Dusty, how you have to somehow get them to buy into what you're selling. How do you get them to buy in to what you're selling?
Good question.
That is an excellent question. It's a matter of, because like you say, you've got a team, but it's a matter, you really have to hit to their desires and their goals.
Say, listen, I know what I'm doing. If you listen to me, you'll get to that goal.
Exactly. And if they're, and I'll tell you what, and I think, Vern, probably that's what you're saying, that is hard. If someone really loses the desire, that's tricky.
Well, we were talking before we all met here. You said that there was someone from was it Tampa Bay Buccaneers who was trying to do some kind of
It's
coaching. Go ahead.
There's a book called something about habit, and they mentioned that it was the year that the Buccaneers were,
They won the Super Bowl.
That's 2002.
And
The
this
Super Bowl.
This was right before, and it's I think Dunphy, I want to say.
Tony Dungy, who was the coach.
Yes.
Yes.
And they talk about he came in and he had applied everywhere, and nobody would take him because his thing was you have to form habits with these guys. In other words, it has to be a no think. When they go out there, the moment they think, that's the second. Like when the swimmer looks at the other one and misses the 10th of a second.
He is right because it's in a split second you have to react and commit to that react. If you're on the football field and think, is this scheme? Your head's just taken completely off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that was the year that he was with against Tampa Bay.
No, he was with Tampa Bay, right?
He was Buccaneers.
That is
Tampa
Bay.
I'm like,
Buccaneers.
who were they play? See, woohoo!
They played the Oakland Raiders. for
Dusty
the
hasn't
Super
been
Bowl.
doing this.
Yeah.
You can
That's
tell.
okay.
Yes, and when he took the Buccaneers out, and that was the that's what you said. What Vern said was 2002.
Yeah.
And then of course every year since they became
Contenders.
Now the inside story, just for the listeners that are kind of scratching their head, he coached the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, was let go. John Gruden came in.
Yeah, that's
Took
right.
over. That was the famous trick.
Yeah, because
They got rid of Dungy, and then Tampa Bay did a trade with the Oakland Raiders, unprecedented.
Yeah.
The Raiders traded their coach
Yeah.
to Tampa Bay for draft picks.
Yeah.
So Gruden goes over to Tampa Bay, takes Tony Dungy's players, molds them together, motivates them to go out, and then they win the Super Bowl, oddly enough,
Against the Raiders.
against the Oakland Raiders.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was at that game.
That was depressing for me, because I was a Raiders fan, of course.
Right.
But then,
Well, so many stories behind that game. I mean, the center going AWOL
that's
for the
one
game.
thing I was thinking of.
Can't believe that.
More interceptions thrown by quarterback.
Well, it almost wasn't a fair fight because you got the Oakland Raiders going up against a team coached by a guy that wrote your playbook.
Okay, guys, we're going to have to change every play. I mean, pretty much all the plays have to get changed.
Yeah, every audible, and back then, I mean, the Raiders were run by Al Davis, who's like, well, we're going to win or we're going to lose, and we're not going to adjust for anybody. And as arrogant as that was, boy, they just got served up on a platter that day. It was all Tampa Bay.
Yep, Warren Sapp had quite a game.
But the cynics say, yeah, Tampa Bay won it, but it was Tony Dungy's players that won it.
That's right, because he was the year before.
Yeah.
How many years had he coached?
And then he goes on to the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah.
And then he finally wins the Super Bowl with the Colts.
Now he's a good guy because in fact I remember when, if I'm not mistaken, during 2001 there was. I'm trying to think if it was him because during 9/11 he was kind of going who was the coach of the Jets back then or the Giants?
The New York Giants.
Yeah.
Because
I remember I could have sworn Dungy was in there where he was basically going, look, what are we talking about football for? Because 3,000 people lost their lives, and his mind wasn't on football, even though they had they played a little bit later.
Dungy very much could have said that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're talking about the coach of the Jets at the time.
Yeah.
Blanket.
Audience, you'll have to write us in because we're having a
Blanket.
a
God,
brain
my
break
old
here.
age.
I know. Edward, email Edward.
Age is just a number, though.
That's true. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, email Edward at sportsecon101.com. The answer to that question: who was 2001 coaching the Jets?
I'll come up with it in a
I know
second.
it's the Jets.
He works for ESPN now. He does NFL primetime
Well,
on
Tony
ESPN.
Tony Dungy.
No, that's not. Well, he's
with Chiefs then too, right? Anyway, while you're
Joe Namath.
no.
Come on. Broadway Joe?
Broadway Joe, see, you are showing your age on that one. Okay,
Thanks.
all right. Here we're going to cut to our third and final trivia question while Vern looks this up on the internet. Okay, talking baseball one more time here. This
Herm Edwards. Herm Edwards was the coach of the Jazz. Because he had the famous press card. Hello, you played to win the game. Hello. Herm Edwards.
Herm Edwards. Thank you very much. That is correct. This center
From Monterey Salinas.
Is that right?
Played at Cal.
Okay, we got to quickly go to
For a
this break
year.
here. This center fielder hit 50 home runs in 1996 after never having hit more than 20.
I know exactly who that is.
Any other
I know
season.
exactly who that is.
Hold on.
Wait.
Who
Oh, yeah.
caught lightning in a bolt in a bottle? Who caught lightning in a bottle that year? First email, 3 emails with the correct answer.
American League? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Yes, I know exactly who that
Okay.
is.
Email Edward at sportsecon101.com. Answer to this question. This center fielder hit 50 home runs in 1996 after never having hit more than 20 in any other season.
Mm-hmm.
Who caught lightning in a bottle that year?
I was with him in.
Really?
Well,
That's
I won't say the
you know
city.
that. I know
Okay,
why you
go
know
ahead.
this. Okay, don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101 will be right back with some closing comments. We went over.
Brady Anderson.
There you go.
Hell yeah. I remember that.
You know that just because it's Baltimore.
I remember that.
Okay, we just have 2
Vernon
minutes
knows
to go.
where to dig a lot of this
He
stuff
knows.
out of. And I'm gonna run.
Okay.
I'm actually gonna. Do you know Jeremy Engman?
How do I know that name?
Because he's Murad's. Used to work with Murad.
Oh,
and then
okay.
he started his whole new gig, Soma.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Jeremy's doing over at the Bay Club. He's got the Sharks team now at Bay Club Ross Valley.
Nice.
Yeah, but
Nice.
he's gonna give you some tricks on how to teach kids, new kids diving from the side of the. It's interesting diving from the side of the pool in because they're with the Sleepy Hollow.
That's who the Seals are swimming this weekend.
And one of the mothers said, she goes, I just don't think that the coaches are figuring out how to teach her. I said, well, I'm gonna
And
ask
the
Jeremy.
Sleepy Hollow coach?
Yeah.
Mark Anderson?
I know. But
It's like
but the problem is a certain point they tend to. This is one thing is that people tend to.
wow.
The coaches tend to teach to their top swimmers, right? And the other ones get a little bit.
And the other ones are, the ones that
That's
are
the
in like the
problem.
7th and 8th heat
Exactly.
don't get that technique.
Well, and you guys
yeah.
asked that. How do you? That was a really good question. How do you keep everybody? That's tricky.
Yeah.
No, this is not.
There's old little Nicky.
Where's Nikki?
I just read it way
He's, right here.
No, that I
Right
don't.
here.
Oh, okay.
No,
So,
you don't have to do.
so I
You're all
don't have
set.
to do my magic. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
This big when I was there.
Yeah.
Look at this.
And can you let me know when it's going to be on? When this will be on?
yeah.
Because that way I can let.
Yeah. And
Look at that. Look at that.
probably should do it
What's
as fast as I can because you're talking about basketball, so I need to edit it and then just tell them, hand it in as a single.
Yeah.
And then they tell me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, sir.
Like,
You're welcome.
finished before everybody else.
And here's his breaststroke.
Okay. We literally have to. I mean, literally, if you can just stay around 2 minutes, because we have this segment lasts 2
Yeah,
minutes.
just for the rest. Okay.
Okay, ready? Okay, Bert, we're gonna go. We're just gonna end this real quickly here.
All right.
Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn.
What's up?
And we've got Kramer, videographer, there. And we've
Wait.
got Dusty Roady. Say wave to the
Hi,
camera.
Kramer.
All
I'm sure you got amazing shot to the back of my head as I was looking this way the whole time. Yeah.
Okay, final trivia question. This center fielder hit 50 home runs in 1996 after never having hit more than 20 in any other season. Who caught lightning in a bottle that year? Comes from Baltimore. Well, he played in Baltimore.
Burn.
Brady Anderson.
Brady Anderson.
Yep.
That is correct.
I remember when he came up. Yep.
That guy was a man. Okay, ready for this? Thoughts for the day. Olympic gold medals are actually mostly made of silver. And dimples on a golf ball help reduce drag, allowing the ball to fly further than a ball without dimples. Now, I thought the dimples were there to slow the ball down once it hit the ground, so well, that shows you how much I know. And I got a quick spelling
You
test.
could have said, "Oh, I just thought they were cold. Thought they were chilly."
Chile. There you go. Okay, now, Vern, this is for you here. Ready?
Go.
How do you pronounce MACBETH?
MACBETH.
MACBETH.
I can't answer.
Macbeth.
Macbeth. Okay.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce MACDONALD? McDonald. Okay.
McDonald.
Now,
Okay.
how do you pronounce MACHINERY?
machinery?
Well, I pronounce it machinery,
Oh,
but
machinery.
that's okay.
You
Yeah,
got
I
me.
got you on that
You
one.
did.
Good
You
one.
Okay,
did.
you like that one?
I like that one.
Okay. Tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. Why? Because we're going to be discussing sports topics from a business perspective and giving away more free vacations for answering sports trivia questions. Want to thank our special guest co-host here, Dusty Roady, who is the owner of Excel Fitness.
Well,
thank you very much for joining us. It was good to have
pleasure.
In relation to Jeff, Roady?
No, it was good to have a woman's perspective here because we were talking to Dara. All right. Thanks for listening, audience. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Good night, America.
So long. And that's a wrap.
This is too much fun.
All right.
Fun?
I want to do this.